Hi, I'm Veronica Wasek with 5-Minute Bookkeeping. I empower virtual bookkeeping pros to become confident professionals and business owners. In this video, I'll talk about how to clean up unapplied cash payment income and expense in QuickBooks Online. Okay, so you're doing a QBO cleanup and you come across this unapplied cash payment income and expense in the profit and loss report. What exactly is that and how do you clean it up? Let's take a look. Have you ever looked at a cash basis profit and loss report and seen either an unapplied cash payment income account or an unapplied bill payment expense account? It's a mouthful. Well, these accounts show up in the profit and loss report only when you run the cash basis report. These accounts are created by QuickBooks Online to balance itself on a cash basis. The accounts cannot be deleted, and a journal entry will not fix these accounts. Journal entries affect both cash and accrual, but the unapplied cash payment income account and unapplied bill payment expense account are only cash basis accounts. Let's start with the unapplied cash payment income account. How does it get there? What are the causes? Generally, the date of a customer payment is before the date of the invoice. So when that happens, that will cause an amount to be added to the unapplied cash payment income account by QuickBooks. Also, it may happen when a customer payment and an invoice are not applied to each other. You may also see unapplied cash payment income when a QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online conversion has been made, when journal entries were used to adjust accounts receivable in QuickBooks Desktop. According to the QuickBooks support website, another possible cause is that the product or service item on the invoice is mapped to a bank account type, which will cause the amount to go into unapplied cash payment income without actual payment being received. Make sure the product or service is mapped to an income account type to prevent this from happening. I've never seen this happen before, but given that the QuickBooks support a team has listed that on their website, I wanted to include that as well. What about unapplied cash bill payment expense? How does it get there? Well, the date of a bill payment is before the date of the vendor bill, or a bill payment and a vendor bill are not applied to each other. And again, in a QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online conversion, if any journal entries were used to adjust accounts payable, when that conversion happens, it looks like QuickBooks Online does not like those journal entries adjusting accounts payable, and it tends to then put those balances in unapplied cash bill payment expense. Here's an example of unapplied cash payment income on the profit and loss. So this is a profit and loss that was run on a cash basis in QuickBooks Online. You don't see it on accrual basis. Again, you see it on a cash basis. When we drill down on that account, then we can see various transactions, and I highlighted for you where we have a customer payment dated January 26th, but the invoice is dated January 31st. So this will go into unapplied cash payment income because the customer payment is dated before the invoice. Let's go through a demonstration of how to clean up unapplied cash payment income. Okay, so I ran a profit and loss report on a cash basis, and you can see that our sample company has unapplied cash payment income. So we'll go ahead and click to drill down and see the details. And we have a lot of transactions in the account. So make sure that you go here to the left, group by, choose name. Then click run report. And then you'll be able to see all of the different transactions now grouped by customer name and be able to then assess which ones you need to clean up. And it looks like from our sample company, there's a lot that needs to be cleaned up. But here's an example of where the transactions clear out. And they happen to clear out in the month of January. Now this one, the customer payment was entered in April, but the invoice was dated May. So here's an easy fix. We need to then decide whether the invoice date needs to be changed or the payment needs to be changed. So in this example, we're going to change the invoice date to April 27th. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll just go ahead and click to open that invoice. And I will change the date and save and close. And now you can see that those transactions resolved and they're not listed in the unapplied cash payment income account anymore. Now let's take a look at lead advertising. We have a customer payment and we need to see if this needs to be applied to an invoice or what the issue is. We don't see an invoice listed in unapplied cash payment income. So let's go ahead and take a look at the customer activity. And we can see actually that there are 2 customer payments, but no invoices entered. Let's go ahead and enter an invoice for this payment. And of course, we would have to check with the client and make sure that this should have been invoiced. So we do need to check with the client and make sure that you're not just entering transactions just to make these things go away, but that you are verifying with the client. So let's assume that I checked with the client and that they said, oh yes, there should have been an invoice for that. I forgot to enter it. So we'll go ahead and enter an invoice. We'll change the date to 12/5/21. This was for consulting services. 4/54/22. Save and close. Okay, so now we have an invoice and we have a customer payment. However, as you can see, this is showing as unapplied. So now we need to go and apply the customer payment to the invoice, because if we don't actually, and I'll show you, let me refresh the screen. So I refresh the screen and you can see that although I entered an invoice, this customer payment hasn't been removed from unapplied cash payment income. And that's because it's not yet applied to that invoice. So let's go ahead and then click on this customer payment and apply it to the invoice. So we'll just click on the box here. Save and close. I refresh the screen again for our account detail, and now we can see that the customer payment is no longer listed in unapplied cash payment income because it has been correctly applied to the invoice. Now let's take a look at unapplied cash bill payment expense. I did change my profit and loss to cash basis so I can see that there is unapplied cash bill payment expense, and keep in mind that it does not show up on an accrual basis, only on a cash basis. So we'll go ahead and click to see what's in the account. We have quite a bit here, so remember that we can group by name and then click Run Report. And this time it's going to sort by vendor name and group the transactions by vendor name, and then you can see if they're clearing out. And then you can see the transactions that need attention, such as this one. There isn't a bill to go with it, so we have a bill payment or a check, but there isn't a bill that goes with it. It's not applied to a bill, or the bill needs to be entered. Same with this transaction. So we can see that for this vendor computer services by DJ, that we need to enter a vendor bill. And in fact, when I look at the vendor history for this vendor, I see the bill payment here and I don't see a vendor bill. In this case, we will enter a vendor bill. So we'll just go from here, new transaction, a bill. We will assign the correct account category. The amount is $110. Okay, save and close. Okay, and at this point, the vendor bill is not, or the bill payment rather, is not assigned to the vendor bill. So we'll need to go ahead and do that. So I clicked on the bill payment, then I will add the bill. I'll make sure that this shows $110 and save and close. I chose the wrong account, so we need to make sure to change this to the correct bank account. Save and close. Be sure to review the remaining items in unapplied cash bill payment expense and clean up as needed. I'm Veronica Wasik with 5-Minute Bookkeeping. Do you need a QuickBooks Online cleanup checklist? Then check the description below for the link to purchase my own colossal cleanup checklist. And look for the links to join my Facebook community and other resources, including my online academy for virtual bookkeepers. If this content is helping you, then subscribe, ring the bell, and give me a thumbs up. And let me know in the comments if there are any other topics that you'd like me to cover in the future. I'm here to help you. I'll see you next time.